Pleasantville City Council work meeting. Today is Monday, October 21st, 2019. This meeting has been advertised in the local newspapers in conformance with the Open Public Meeting Act, otherwise known as the Sunshine Law. Roll call, please.
Swan.
Here.
Sisdrum.
Here.
Scott.
Here.
Harmon. Christmas.
Here.
Davenport.
Present.
Ward.
Here.
All in attendance.
Okay, the time is 6:30 p.m. And before we get started, I'd like to have a moment of silence for our Congressman Elijah Cummings that passed away over the weekend. We could stand and have a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Okay, roll call. Okay. No,
I need a motion for approval of previously.
Yes.
Motion. Second.
All those in favor? Any nays or abstentions? Okay.
Next on the agenda is third quarter capital improvement report by Lauren Newman, city engineer of CME Associates.
Hi, good evening.
Yes.
So I'll go through our report. It's dated October 15th. A bunch of the projects remain on maintenance bond, which is consistent as I previously reported. Collins Avenue, that project is substantially complete. That was just the sanitary sewer replacement there. We do have, which will occur later in this list, an application in for funding to complete the paving and some of the concrete work that's necessary out there. But the sanitary sewer work is substantially complete. As it relates to ACIA funded projects, Chester Avenue, that was a sidewalk project. That project is also complete and is under closeout phase with the county and would be under maintenance bond until 2021. As I had just indicated previously, we do have an application in for Collins Avenue with the county for potential funding, and that would get the roadway resurfaced and some concrete work done out there. We've also submitted an application to the county for funding for Indian Lane. Indian Lane is a relatively small right-of-way. It's currently a dirt road. It's about 18 feet. We've had some drainage complaints out there, and so in an effort to fix those, we're looking at doing some paving and some drainage to get water to convey positively. We've also submitted to the county for some reimbursement for some equipment over at Woodland Park. That actually is already submitted for reimbursement, and I expect that there will be no issues with those. I follow up with him relatively frequently, just where he is, but all of that's been submitted, and that was for the backboards that are out there, and then 2 pieces of freestanding playground equipment as well. As it relates to the DOT projects, the first couple listed are all under maintenance bond. We do have a 2018 Transit Village project, which is a streetscape along Main Street. It's between Ansley and Bayview. It'll basically take the next leg of improvements that were previously done. That is currently in the design phase. That project will need to be awarded, I believe, by May of 2020, consistent with the grant program. And by way of other projects that we have, the Cedar Crest Pump Station, that project has been awarded to a contractor, and we're working through shop drawings and construction permits so that he can actually get that work moving in the field. The dredging permit has been on here for a period of time, but I do think we did receive the permit recently from the DEP, so hopefully that project will start to move forward as well. That basically summarizes what we have by way of active construction or things that have been closed out within this quarter, and I'm certainly available for any questions you may have.
Council President, if you could just have or give an update on the construction work on Franklin, and also the work that we were doing with the county on Old Turnpike.
Okay, so South Jersey Gas is nearing the end of the remediation project out there. They will be doing the final restoration and paving. That'll be coming within the next 30 days, I believe, is within their schedule. And that portion of the project will be complete. What had come to light when we were out there is that there's pretty substantial drainage issues. The roadside swales were not functioning properly. And there was flooding conditions that were happening out there. So in response to that, the county did come out there. They have really dug through and established those swales. Will be a maintenance effort because mud will wash in, so I want to continue to stay on them with that. But I am happy to report that the county did come out immediately following the meeting that was held in the field, and they did really reestablish everything. We're going to try to get some grading work done by the South Jersey gas contractor to aid with some of the, just getting the water out so it's not ponding. But that project will be nearing completion, the remediation portion, by the end of this year. Then I think we'll have an ongoing just maintenance and staying on top of the drainage issues with the county.
Madam Chair, Madam President, ordinance 14, that relates to what Laura was just discussing.
Oh,
As part of the work over there, there were 3 very small parcels that were created that need to be dedicated to the municipality and will then become part of the right-of-way. So that's what ordinance 14 is about. It's a spin-off of that project with small portions of land coming back to the city to be incorporated into the public right-of-way.
thank you. Any questions?
Madam President, Laura, the dredging project, that is Ocean City Flow.
That's really Lakes Bay. I think it would piggyback along the bigger dredging project, but this was just specific to Lakes Bay and our marina.
And dredging.
Yes.
Okay.
Laura, Franklin Boulevard, the timeframe, is it for end of October?
Not end of October. I think
Okay,
we're looking at the end of this year.
End of this year.
Paving and all
Yeah.
Correct.
Paving.
It'll probably be sooner than the end of this year. We've gotten an update, as you all, I sent you all a weekly update, and initially they projected the project to be completed at the end of October. Now they're telling us November,
Yeah.
so.
Well,
I know-
they're on target for the project, not the restoration, putting it all back in order.
Yeah.
Well,
Correct. I noticed that the notice we sent out today had no date on it, because
Correct.
I was looking for that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So wait a minute, you saying the end of the year for completion date?
Yes.
Maybe.
I had to go on the radio last week.
We told you not to give that date.
I was requested to go on the radio, and I told them the end of October, possibly 2 weeks into November, be bad weather. You know, so,
And maybe we'll have a little more bad weather.
Well, a lot of times what happens is once you hit the holidays of November, it kind of delays stuff too. The pay, you can also only get asphalt till about the middle to the 3rd week of November. So I know they're being aggressive. They do want to get it done too, but I think in all fairness, I would say by the end of the year. Hopefully by Thanksgiving, but.
All right, a couple questions. For instance, under Safe Streets to Transit, Park Avenue, when it says the city was awarded a $500,000 grant, and then it says, well, the money that we spent didn't come to $500. So how does that work?
So a couple of things can happen. One, it can get reallocated to a different project within the city.
Even though that wasn't on the grant?
That's correct. We
Okay.
can seek funding for others. The other thing, which I worked with Barry, is you can actually collect some of your construction administration or your engineering oversight through the DOT as well. So typically what we've done in the past is we've rolled them into other projects. We've had some projects where the grant hasn't covered the work, and we've looked at some of these to take the money and reallocate it.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize you could do that once the grant was written.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be, a similar type of project. They usually won't go for something too far different. But they're pretty good about, if you were received, like this, $500,000, about trying to maintain that amount.
And the other thing was, the acronyms, HMGP, what is that?
Hazard Mitigation Grant Program.
That's, oh, okay, I've heard that.
So typically that's like I always think like post-Hurricane Sandy.
Okay.
It's a FEMA, but that's what it's for. It's to avoid like mitigation or have mitigation projects to avoid flooding in the future.
Oh, okay, okay.
So in this particular case, I think we have them for the generators. So you're looking at providing power to our pump stations in the event of a flooding condition where power may not be available.
Okay. And the dredging, the Clean Earth Bethlehem, that's where we're gonna take we were talking about where we were gonna put the dirty soil.
So I've actually been following up with the DEP because we received one document in July and then a follow-up in September. And the September one did change the disposal site, so we're just looking to coordinate which one, and they requested some additional information. So I think this one was the initially approved, but I think we may be okay with, initially we looked at the Gateway site, but the site wasn't prepped and ready to accept the material. However, I believe it's my recent understanding that that site may be online to take the dredge spoils.
Okay, so is this in Pennsylvania?
This one
will be
is
taken
correct.
to? Okay.
That was on our initial permit from July, and then we received more recent correspondence where it changed.
Okay. All right, and the last thing I'd like to know is HDSRF.
All right, that one you're gonna get, hold on.
Okay.
I'm ready to look.
Okay, and that's under dual fuel.
Yeah, it's an environmental grant. Hazard Discharge Site Remediation Fund, that's it.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it.
I knew if I got one of the words, I'd get it.
Okay, good, thank you. Any other questions, Lois? Okay, thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, first on the agenda for review is ordinance number 13, second reading. Public hearing will be held during regular session. It is adopting amendments to a redevelopment plan for the California Avenue redevelopment tract in the city.
Are there any questions or comments?
Ordinance number 14, first reading, authorizing the acceptance of a deed of dedication of 3 small parcels of real property located on Block 131, part of Lot 1, and parts of Lot 2 to create and enhance a public right-of-way and for pedestrian sidewalk purposes.
Okay, this is the one Fred was just talking about. Does everybody understand it?
What's the street?
Franklin Boulevard.
Franklin?
Mm-hmm. Really, it's to make it simple, it's just straightening it out.
Right.
Yeah, that's where that curve
Straightens
is.
that little bump out,
Mhm.
straightens that, aligns that.
Does it totally straighten it or
It's
else?
supposed to straighten it out.
Make it better anyway.
Straight line.
Gonna be a little,
Mhm. It'll be better.
it looks like,
I'm not saying anything after
don't stay straight.
Okay, next, Vivian.
Okay, next is Resolution 161, approving the renewal plenary retail consumption liquor license for the 2019 through 2020 term.
Are there any questions or comments? Next, please.
Resolution 162, endorsing a UEZ loan to Mainland Dental in the amount of $60,000.
Questions, comments? Next, please.
Next is the bill list.
Evening. Like every time we have two bill lists, the first one we're going to go over are the bills that were paid between last council meeting and this council meeting. And most of them are really our debt service bills, with over on page 1, about 3/4 way down, it says 15,600 hours for KTS mechanical. That is work that was done in the school, in the police department. Actually, they were done probably in April. They just didn't sign the proper paperwork until recently. So we were holding $15,000 when the work was done months ago. Next one down is their CW sale from the pump in one of the pump stations. And then the others down below wire transfers or payroll for the last pay period. $30,000 for payment of a demo loan that we've had for the last couple of years. And then $229,000 of debt service for another loan we've taken out over the years. So those are the ones that we paid between last council meeting and this council meeting. All these are done, most of these are done through wire transfers just because it's easier and they don't want checks. On the bills to be paid, you go down, most of all these are normal operating bills I'll point out a couple unusual ones. On page 2, 3/4 way down, Eagle Point of $4,900, that's for ammo and targets for the police department. Again, we do this like maybe every 6 months, pay this bill. Go to page 4. Fifth one down is our monthly payment to the school for their taxes that we collect on their behalf of $767,000. 2 below that, Pro Phoenix Corporation is for software and servers to service our police department and their software. As you know, when we did the transfer to Egg Harbor Township, we had to change to Pro Phoenix software. So this is some of the backup and information that we have to buy to maintain the equipment on a regular basis. 3 down from that is Schindler Elevator Corporation, an annual contract that, again, is something that we don't normally pay. We want to point things out to you like that. Go to page 5. 5 down, TRICARE. We purchased 2 portable defibrillators. 2,500 hours of the 2,550 is going to be reimbursed through JIF. Other than that, all the other bills, there are no more operating bills to run the city. Any questions?
Barry, how much did you say it's gonna be reimbursed?
2,500 of the 2,550.
Oh, okay. Any questions? Thank you, Barry.
Okay.
Okay, now we'll have the public portion. Anyone from the public that wishes to speak on any items on the agenda, please come forward, state your name, your address, or your name and your concern. Seeing none, I'd like to have a motion to close the public portion.
So moved.
All those in favor?
All, yes.
Any nays, abstentions? Public portion is now closed, and we'll have open discussion from mayor and council. If there's anything you'd like to share. Anyone? Yes.
Madam President, I have got it now and later. Last Saturday, the rededication of the Woodland Avenue Park. I'm still in Councilman Davenport's thunder, but I have the floor now. It was a great addition to our great city, and Mayor Pepper still in his thunder too, but you know, it was truly a lovely event, dedicating a facility to facilitate our young people, and they were there. The unknown is we don't know what those youngsters would be doing or where they would be if it wasn't for facilities and activities such as that. I think we had 2 basketball games going on at the same time. But the thing, and the reason I'm speaking, I want the community to know that 2 young ladies I single out. I was sitting in a position where I could do nothing but observe. And I looked over and I saw, our city administrator worked from the lighting of the burner to the smoke where you put it out. Linda, I want to publicly commend you for your full day of dedication to make that table a super success. It was well managed. By her side was the wife of our councilman, Mr. Davenport. They call her Stefan, but her name, they tell me, is Stephanie. Stephanie, where are you? Would you embarrassingly stand up, please? You can't stand? Right. Stephanie was right there beside Miss Payne, and the reason I'm running my mouth so much, because, I mean, they managed they supervise, they place the food, control the food, and control the table. So I, again, want to publicly commend those two persons. And there were others and many involved, but it just caught my eye, and I promised myself that I would publicly commend you and Mrs. Davenport for your dedication to that table, to make it work. And of course, that's off to our youngest councilman, Davenport, for making that an addition to our great city. Thank you, Councilman Davenport. And it was a lovely, lovely evening and affair, and I had lunch and dinner. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Yes, I would like to comment on the event also. I would just want to thank everybody who came out and everybody who helped out on that day. Not only was Linda there on that day all day long, but she's been there with me from the beginning, making sure that this thing went right. Just want to thank each one of you for all your help and your support. So thank you very much.
Anyone else? Okay, now I'd like to have a motion to close the work session.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Anyone need a vote? Good evening, everyone. This is the Pleasantville City Council meeting. Today is Monday, October 21st, 2019. The time is 6:51 p.m. This meeting has been duly advertised in the local newspapers in conformance with the Open Public Meeting Act, otherwise known as the Sunshine Law. Will you please stand for the invocation of the main stand for the flag salute? Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Swan.
Here.
Sistrum.
Here.
Scott.
Here.
Harmon. Christmas.
Here.
Davenport.
Here.
Ward.
Here.
All in favor.
Okay. I'd like to have a motion to dispense the readings of the previous minutes.
Motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any nays or abstentions? Mayor, do you have anything this evening?
No, Madam President.
Okay. Mrs. King,
Okay, first on the agenda is ordinance number 13, second reading, public hearing required. Adopting amendments to a redevelopment plan for the California Avenue redevelopment tract in the city.
Okay, because this is the second reading, the public will have a chance to speak on this ordinance. If there's anyone that would like to, come forward, state your name and your concern. Seeing none?
See that, this motion closed. Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Any nays? Okay. Okay. No opposed?
Motion. Second.
Swan.
Yes.
Sistrum.
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.
Harmon.
Yes.
Christmas.
Yes.
Davenport.
Yes.
Ward.
Yes.
Ordinance adopted. Ordinance number 14, first reading, authorizing the acceptance of a deed of dedication of 3 small parcels of real property located on Block 131, part of Lot 1 and parts of Lot 2 should create and enhance a public right-of-way and for pedestrian sidewalk purposes.
I say motion.
Second.
Swan,
Yes.
Sistrum,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Harmon,
Yes.
Christmas,
Yes.
Davenport,
Yes.
Ward.
Yes,
Ordinance moved to second reading. Resolution 161, approving the renewal of preliminary retail consumption liquor license for the 2019 through 2020 term.
Motion. Second.
Swan,
Yes.
Sistrum,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Harmon,
Yes.
Christmas,
Yes.
Davenport,
Yes.
Ward.
yes,
Resolution approved. Resolution 162, endorsing an UEZ loan to Mainland Dental in the amount of $60,000.
So moved.
Second.
Swan,
Yes.
Sistrum,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Harmon,
Yes.
Christmas,
Yes.
Davenport,
Yes.
Ward.
yes,
Resolution approved. I need a motion to pay for bills.
So motion. Second.
Swan,
Yes.
Sistrum,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Harmon,
Yes.
Christmas,
Yes.
Davenport,
Yes.
Ward.
yes,
Motion approved. I need a motion for bingo license.
second,
Swan,
Yes.
Sistrum,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Harmon,
Yes.
Christmas,
Yes.
Davenport,
Yes.
Ward.
yes.
Motion approved. Next is public portion.
Okay, anyone from the public that wishes to speak on anything, please come forward, state your name and your concern.
If it's okay, Councilwoman Ward, can I pass these out or hand these over?
Sure.
Yes. It's kidding. Good evening, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Roderick Green. This is my partner, Ben Fareed. We are Ideal Institute of Technology. We're based here in Atlantic County, and we have been for the last 4 years. Our primary office has been in Absecon, where we began, and then we expanded our operation out to the Hamilton Mall and Mays Landing. During that time when we were expanding, we had always been looking at Pleasantville as a place in which we could plant our flag as well, because many of the young men and young ladies that we've been servicing over the last 4 years are from this great city of Pleasantville. Particularly what's in front of you is our first graduation, where in the year of 2018, the latter part rather of 18 going into 19, we serviced about 70 youth throughout the county, and predominantly they were from Pleasantville as well as from Atlantic County, Atlantic cities particularly. Just a little bit from a top-down perspective, we for the last 4 years we're one of 2 current running vendors with the Pleasantville One-Stop Center. We are Department of Labor approved, Workforce Development, the Department of Education, as well as we're veteran approved as well, and this is our accreditation year. We've been servicing youth between the ages of 16 and 24 in Atlantic County through what they have coined as the Out of School Youth Grant. We've rebranded that as Ideal's First Step to Careers, because we believe that we're essentially giving these young men and young ladies their first step into a career in business and IT. So our particular designation is we're a private college school under, again, the Department of Education. We're happy to announce also that as of August 28th, we were successful at bidding for 121 and 123 Main Street. I believe it was the former Highland Printers. And we have been speaking with, obviously, great to see you guys, Mayor Tweedle, Business Administrator Payton, and by invitation of Mr. Davenport this evening, he pulled my coattail. I told him what we've been doing, and we hadn't seen each other in a while, and he said you may want to come to the council meeting and just kind of share what you guys are up to. Particularly with that location, again, in broad strokes, we really see one side of it being a seed center. Seed center, basically, the acronym is Self-Employed Enterprise Development Business Center. And so what we would like to do as a part of our model, and if you look at the back of this, you'll see some of our student enterprises that kind of help the very, very back of the pamphlet, two of our enterprises that we're going to be locating within the other portion of the facilities. So on 121, I believe, on that side is where we're doing the Seed Center. And we, again, want to help incubate small businesses, self-employed individuals, in terms of resources from startup all the way through to, again, receiving funding, but giving them a virtual space in some essence where individuals normally wouldn't have places to work out of in that regard. But we also, as members of the Coalition for a Safe Community, again, having opportunities to have meetings held there with that great organization, but then also, again, other organizations, nonprofits within the city, it can be seen in that way as well. Particularly, I point your attention on the back, because we're an education, training, workforce development nonprofit, is Ideal Appliance Repair and Ideal Builders. And so these particular two student enterprises, these are our student enterprises. The Tech Center is a mobile van, but we're opening up a new office in the Hamilton Mall, and Ideal Studios currently in the mall. The Savings Club is there, as well as the Virtual Reality Lab. But the appliance repair piece is what we want to locate there in the 121, 123, more so the 123 side, in terms of pathways for individuals to be able to acquire skill sets to be certified repair technicians. But then also, we're looking to incubate our builder piece, which is currently in operation now, where we'll be able to train individuals in pathways of trade, if you will. In conclusion with that, we're also courting other companies and creating kind of like a nexus, if you will, of providers, training providers, so that they could take residence there as well. And we kind of share the classroom space, kind of like a co-sharing piece that's also already approved with the Department of Labor Workforce Development. And so essentially what it becomes is like a one-stop, two-to-one-stop, if you will. So when individuals want to go out and they want to receive that training, essentially they'll be able to come there, and nonprofits can come and small businesses can come, and then we'll have these training dynamics going on in that particular facility. That said, we wanted to make that introduction. Second week in November is where we're projecting, obviously, a ribbon cutting ceremony. We've submitted application thus far for a certificate of occupancy. Obviously, we'd love to be able to invite you out to that event, but then also to learn more about some of the things that Pleasantville is currently offering to businesses that are coming in, that's investing. We understand what the UEZ is in broad strokes, but we definitely want to have more finite discussion in that regard, whether it's from tax component, whether it's from, we heard about a MPP program through Ms. Belton at one of the meetings out with Max Slusher and those guys at the county. And so we've been speaking to everyone, and again, we're here to stay, and we're happy to now, after having several conversations throughout the years, to say we're here now officially, even though we've been servicing the community for over the last 4 years.
121 and 123 South Main Street, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Right across Joseph.
Yeah. That's good. Good location.
Yeah, just wanted to first just say that I'm pleased to hear that you guys have finally gotten to the point where you landed here in Pleasantville. As you stated, you've been, working towards getting here for a very long time. In addition to that, the building that you were able to purchase is, has been blighted. So to see that building now be occupied with a business such as yours is also a plus. I think Jackie has spoken to you regarding the neighborhood preservation program focus group, and they have agreed to participate, and I think that meeting is at the end of the month, so you'll get more information.
Okay.
A letter should be going out shortly to you, but you'll get more information about that kickoff meeting, and we want businesses, particularly newer businesses, to come in and help us talk about strategies to revitalize the community. So again, I'm pleased to see that this has come to fruition, and good job.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Ron and Randy, you guys have been trying, and I know too, for a long time to find somewhere in Pleasantville.
Absolutely.
And I'm happy. And the virtual lab, everyone should go see that if you guys haven't been to the mall yet to see the virtual lab. Ren had the ribbon cutting out there. I was invited, and I went, and then we had a chance to try it. Everyone was having so much fun, and I got to see a lot of the graduates. And you're doing really, really good work, and I'm glad to have you in Pleasantville.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to say last year, 8 Pleasantville High School students who found our program benefit, and they graduated before their 12th grade classmates in Pleasantville High School. Pleasantville High School was gracious enough to let them walk the graduation, and that was a huge success. And we are in the process of proving the point that if it's a better opportunity is available to this youth, they can shine. And as in coming from Indian community, when I come to the Pleasantville, a lot of folks have that bias towards the gateway to Atlantic County. That's the way I see it, that anybody want to go to Atlantic City, Pleasantville is the place that they can go through. And our youth should have a first chance to succeed. And all we're doing is making sure that they get skilled training to get a $12 to $15 an hour and more jobs. So the way Council President mentioned, please visit us in Hamilton Mall 2 with the VR lab where our graduates works. That's one of our student enterprise along with all others. Every single business that you see on the last page is operated by our students, and they get a work study experience while they're getting paid. So we're dreaming the school, career school, where students come in and they get paid to learn. So our program pays $50 a week stipend. We provide a bus pass, and we teach at no cost. On top of that, if they earn the skills and they apply in any of this student enterprise, then they earn the more stipend.
And they had such pride that day. They were all so proud of what they were doing. They were running more or less the whole
That's correct.
program.
Are these college credit class courses? How
It's
does that work?
industry certifications.
Okay.
So from a workforce perspective, everyone has a different pathway. But we just finished up a successful program with JJC. So we're at Harbor Fields as well. So we started a new cohort out there where we're teaching music video production. But then also we just partner with Drexel as well. So our whole pathway is that if you start out and you say, hey, we level the playing field, kind of close some of those skills gap, get them compensated. But then if those who do aspire to go towards, we also partner with the SAT Prep, ACT Prep company. And so we run that as well, starting in the first quarter of 2020. So again, as we kind of assess them and we see those that may want to go further, we kind of have those dynamics that's in place right now to kind of further that education pathway.
And all the students who earn a national certification, ACCC do accept the credit for those certifications. And our graduates go to the free community college, tuition-free community college program.
Have you ever thought of like a plumbing, heating, air conditioning, electrical component?
Yeah, we're not ready for it yet because we promote more of a high-tech IT programs because I have a team of placement companies who can easily place them $30,000 to $40,000 an hour or more. And a heating and air conditioning, the school nearest is Pencotech, right? And it means a huge facility, and a job opportunity is limited when it comes to preparing the local youth.
But what I will say in terms of career technical education, at one point we did, and we're going to rearrange a meeting with the new superintendent and the monitor that's currently in place today. We were looking at Decatur Avenue in terms of repurposing that particular facility here in Pleasantville in that same retrospect, because we felt that from a county perspective, a lot of kids are being lost to several districts, essentially to ACIT in that regard. But there are some things that can essentially work and where youth that are in city, if you will, can receive some of those pathways that's only offered on an adult level currently. And so we met with the county superintendent on some esports things as well, which we're into as well. But in saying as much, that's something that we still are interested in. But now that we have a footprint, obviously, in the city of Pleasantville, that's something that, in terms of our burgeoning relationship with city council and obviously with its leadership, that we want to further discuss what our capacity truly is beyond what we're talking about today.
Because what we found, we've been molding our own kids. Like, because we found that it's so hard to find plumbers or air conditioning guys. I mean, everybody has such bad habits. So we decided to just grow our own. So we're grabbing young kids that we find that are mechanically inclined. And maybe this might be something we could team up with, because there's a lot of kids out there that might have mechanical ability, and that's not the thing. And something, computer and stuff, they might not go for that.
Sure.
Like, because we're finding kids like, anybody that shows us any mechanical ability, we can turn them into something. So it's just something to think about.
Yeah, I guess just to that point, I know my partner was kind of talking on the IT side, but we have Ideal Builders. So Ideal Builders is directly aligned with that type of demographic that is not looking towards the high-end computer pathway, IT pathway, if you will. So that there's definitely synergy there. In fact, our goal is to not only give them the education and training component, but then now we're starting to pick up small contracts for them to actually work on in real time as well. So that heating, plumbing component, electrical piece is definitely something that we're absolutely looking into the future for, and we'd love to talk further
Because
about
New
that.
Jersey is really, like, they have a poor apprenticeship program in New Jersey. I mean, it's horrible. And I mean, I'd love to see something come about that we can start training guys to start looking, because they, I mean, our guys are making big money.
Absolutely.
You know, so it's,
Pathway into the
the
union.
guys that
essentially.
are, I mean, I brought, you know, kids up in like 5 years and they're, or even 3 years, are making a lot, you know.
Well, I will say in conclusion is that New Jersey did launch growing apprenticeship in the non-traditional sector. We were awarded in our partnership with the Atlantic County One-Stop Workforce Development Board. And so we just started that process. And so as they continue to go in that direction, they're kind of revamping what that apprenticeship type of program looks like and how we kind of mitigate some of the technology aspects of it. But nonetheless, again, with Ideal Builders, we feel that that would be something we would love to talk further about, for sure.
Yes, is your school considered a charter school?
No, sir, just vocational school.
A vocational school?
Yes.
A continuing education school
So-
after they've completed their high
So
school?
it's post-secondary, for sure. So it's after high school.
After high school?
Yes, sir,
So it's
but-
continuing education?
Yes, sir. So, but essentially is that we created the model because it was the casino industry closing, so we were looking at the retraining component. But because the grant is geared towards 16 to 24, but our school designation, we're a private college vocational school under the Department
I
of
heard you say
Education.
grant.
Yeah.
So there is no tuition?
So with that particular grant, as a part of that youth's experience, they are not required to pay a tuition. And then on top of that, we actually issue them a weekly stipend and then the transportation piece as well.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It shows that there are traditional ways to get into a career, and there are non-traditional ways to get into a career. And if we have to learn anything in recent years with these apps turning into billions of dollars and everything, not giving up on our youth. Congratulations for coming into this community and helping us not give up on our youth.
Thank you, Mr. Councilman Sistrom.
Excuse me. You said you're dealing with kids from 16 to 25?
24.
24, so that means you are dealing with some of the high school.
Yes, in fact, we were working with Mr. Johnson, and that's why we kind of want to go back to the superintendent from a top-down perspective and say what we were doing before we reached a high attendance or absence rate, we would work with the truancy, and then essentially we would work with the parents. So we'd have a meeting, and we would essentially create a pathway so they would miss no days out of school. So they would disenroll after they were accepted at the one stop, and then they would transition right into the high school equivalency. But then we would wrap it with them with like cell phone repair, or maybe they like some type of Microsoft components and administrative skills. So they kind of had, or music and video production. And that was kind of like the hook for them. So they were getting their high school equivalency, and they were learning music and video production at our Hamilton Mall location. And
So giving them an alternative before dropping out of school.
absolutely. So that was to help mitigate that attrition.
Our youth just finished the wonderful job at the Garden State Employer and Training Association's conference in Bailey's. Complete event video production was done by our youth, and they received awarded contract, and they received the payment for doing their job. So if you guys have time and you're passing by the Hamilton Mall, youth provide content creation for social media marketing. We have a podcast station operated by our youth. So anybody like to do the Facebook Live, anything related to the broadcasting, the youth can provide. They also do the DJ services also in the community. They have done the DJ service in Mount Zion Church and Atlantic City Park.
Yeah.
There was an event, they did the DJing there. So
You have to keep that in mind.
yeah.
So we would love to be able to. So the Seed Center, Ideal Seed Center, is going to serve as the nexus in that regard to kind of bring some of those services, because it's a student enterprise here on Main Street, but then also, again, a place in which nonprofits and for-profits can come and actually have a space where they can work out of and receive business resources. So if there's I know the city has the UEZ, and I know there's obviously many programs that are beneficial to the business community, so we definitely want to learn more, be a part of, those conversations so that we can also serve as an outlet in terms of getting out the actual information to these companies that are looking to come in, and not just here domestically. We were in New Delhi back in August. We're also a part of the Indo-American MSME Mall, micro, small, medium enterprise. And so we did a big campaign because Ideal Savings Club is actually e-commerce. We teach our youth how to shop, like extreme couponing, and then we put them on Amazon so they make money on selling through Amazon. And so we did a big campaign when we were in New Delhi, and there's several companies that actually want to do business in the United States. So we did a campaign called Sell to Americans. And so we're offering virtual office space to individuals for multinational companies. So that's something that we're also kind of fostering in the background for the Seed Center plans.
So the whole idea is that most of the youth that we're serving last 4 years, we were told they need a life skill, soft skill training. They need a life skill, soft skill training. And what we learned is if you give them an opportunity to make $15 to $20 an hour, life skill, soft skill training comes automatic. Because most of the youth, they're out of school, so they're feel that way, that why we have to go and dress for success. What high school diploma going to get us, and why I have to be ready and behave a certain way. But if you tell them that, okay, you're going to be doing this professional job in a Bally's casino, in a conference, they come in a suit and tie. They come in. You don't have to go and coach them that you have to wake up. If you're 17 or 18-year-old, they already know. But they have to need a reason that why I have to do this. And we're trying to provide through all the different student enterprises that, okay, this is an opportunity. You'll make $12 an hour. You'll make $15, and it's consistent. So some of our success stories, they fix the phones. Everybody's going to have one or two broken phones at home, and our students fix it. The old style of a barber school that you get a $5 haircut, all our student enterprise provide similar services but high tech. We do website development, app development, Android app development, iPhone app development, and they're all done by our students at a very cost-effective rate. And they feel pride when they are getting recognized. Attorney General, they recognize our students, Ms. Ward was there, for developing Coalition for Safe Communities website as well.
So thank you so much for this space. I know it's probably more than normally that's allotted, but we really do appreciate it. We're really excited to be here. Sincerely, thank you for your prudent questions. And again, we look forward to staying in touch and definitely fostering a great business and community relationship.
We have spoken many times, even over breakfast.
Yes.
And we're very, very impressed as we are right now. So we're just glad that you continue, and we'll be definitely working together. What's happening on the 2nd of November?
The second week of November is where we're targeting. Our application is in now for 121 for a certificate of occupancy.
Okay.
Once that's issued, then all of our FF&Es, we've already cleaned everything up, so we're ready. So we're projecting that. And then we have future plans in terms of, that's where we really need your help, because we don't want to keep that. We have some aquaponics ideas and some, we understand what's happening in the marketplace. We've done a lot of feasibility. But again, thank you so much for asking that question, and we definitely keep you informed when we have a concrete date so that we can make a nice PR stunt for it.
As you can see, they're two brainiacs.
Ren,
As you can see, they're two
Yeah.
brainiacs, right?
Ren, then when are you going back to India? In December?
I'll be going November 28th, 29th, 30th, and then December 14th onwards to the Christmas.
Oh, okay, because December 4th is our next meeting.
Yeah, I'll be here.
Okay.
Yes.
If he's not, I will be.
Yes,
Okay, good. Yeah, because you got to share that.
absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Okay. Anyone else from the public? Okay, motion to close the public portion.
So moved.
Okay, public portion is now closed. We'll have comments from Mayor.
Linda said trunk or treat, which is October 31st. We're still looking for applicants to come and sign up for a trunk or treat, 5 o'clock, 5:30?
6 to 7:30.
Oh, 6 to 7:30. So if you know of anyone, that will come, spot, you coming? Okay. It's really a fun night for the kids, for trunk or treat. Last year, I think we had about 300 kids. And so we anticipate more this year because the word is getting out there more than it was last year. So pass the word out. If you know anyone who wants to decorate their trunk and hand out candies, please call Debbie Washington or stop at Kara's office and sign up. Thank you.
Mr. Harvey?
Madam President, I've said much, but our mayor is going to be on and sometime soon to speak to their boss.
Thursdays is Crime Stopper of the Year Award, along with Danny Levinson at the Atlantic City Country Club, 5:30.
I want to congratulate you
Thank
and straighten out the city. Okay. Thank you.
Councilman Scott?
Good evening. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for the presentation. Thanks for the service. I used to work for the Teamsters, and we had an in-house program where we aid people for work training, computer training, and things of that nature, and stuff like that. It's pretty vital for a young person to get other different types of training to be available for people in this workforce, and I appreciate that again. Thank you.
Councilman Davenport?
Just want to say thank you, congratulations, Council, good luck.
Councilman Scott?
Thank you for coming out. And any program that's going to help the youth, we all for it. I thank you very much for doing so. Thank you.
Councilman Christmas?
Good evening, thank you for coming out, and thank you for bringing such a positive thing to the city of Pleasantville. Thank you very much.
Councilman Swan?
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming out. We had a little bit of excitement in our office last Saturday. We have, and if you've heard of the Ring, where it records, if somebody rings your bell, you can talk to them.
Yeah.
Well, we have something similar, and in our office, well, what happened was we had a guy working on a truck outside, and he decided to go to Johnny D's. So something motion, and somebody jumped in the truck while nobody was there, and the camera picked him up and gave him an alert. He called the police, and within like 3 minutes, they had pictures of him. They caught him. I mean, it was just picture perfect. So I think, Pleasantville did a great job, but I think everybody should buy one of those rings, because I'm getting them for my wife. I mean, they're amazing. I mean, we had pictures of the person that was in there. They caught him with tools in the backpack, and he was gone and caught in 2 minutes. So.
Stan has every gadget,
And,
everything.
Well, it's worth it.
Everything.
It's worth that.
It is, but you have
Big C.
everything. That's good.
Councilman Spine, why don't you tell them about the cars?
Oh, yeah. Well, we noticed that the Pleasantville, the breast cancer month is this month, so we noticed that the cars were looking like they were done a few years ago, and the pink was all fading out. Cars looked kind of trashy, so I called the chief. I said, look, let's look about freshening it up a little, and we'll pick up the tab. So what happened was it ended up that Car Toys got involved, and we also found out that Atlantic City had an exact car too they wanted to do. So we ended up having like a big shindig. Car Toys went in with us, and they detailed the cars, re-lettered them, and we had like a little dedication the other day. It was a really nice little affair. So,
And decal on the car, it's Ben Franklin.
yeah, we put a little sticker on there. So.
I just want to say, these are the kind of things that Councilman Smart has done throughout the years. He's very modest about it, but that was very generous to do that. And I just want to compliment you on that.
Thanks.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to say, again, to Ren and Rod, thank you for sticking with Pleasantville. I know a couple times you were very, very discouraged, but you hung in there, and I'm glad you did. And congratulations, Mayor,
Thank you.
on your award. And,
Congratulations. Congratulations.
yes, and Councilman Donovan, that was nice again, that we were having them, you in the recreation department, that was good. And you did work hard that day, Linda. I saw you and Billy over there.
Yeah, I want to say her husband as well.
Yes, yes, they were over there. Very hard.
Had to get that out.
It was on.
Maybe we'll get the compliment.
You made Billy work.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good, he was alone at first. He was alone, he couldn't help her. Okay, if there's nothing else, I'd like to have a motion to adjourn.
So there's no second.
Those in favor?
Sorry, Billy, 10 minutes over.